Hello. Hello. Oh, isn't that nice? That's what we're doing today. We're doing hell. Doing up hell. Big style. We're going to take notes about hell notes. Hell no. Because comic, you know where it's going. I thought it'd be funny to have like what girls do in school when they do their special notes. So they go, it's so pretty. It's maybe hell. That doesn't mean it can't be pretty. Well, it kind of does. It's sort of the point, isn't it? It's pretty much the only pages I have left to draw for Death Fist Part 1 are the hell pages. Fucking whatever his name is, Valentinus, the penis, tumbling his way through hell across 4 pages. I've left him to last just because, it's going to take a bunch of drawing to actually get that shit done. I'm actually going to do some kind of research. I have discussed this before, of looking through the Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno, for the descriptions of hell, pull a few images out of there, like gooseberries, plucking them off a bush, and then copy the ideas from one place and put them in my own place. So on my laptop computer, right next to me, I have some website that has some shit. I think someone asked, how did Dante describe all the circles of hell? And someone else posted a bunch of shit, some pictures from some of the, I think they're etchings, that sort of old artwork depicting Dante's descriptions of hell and shit. And he gives descriptions. So I am gonna read through. See, this is how girls do their notes, and then my notes would be like this. And then 1, 2, 3, and then like drawings of skulls and fucking tits and dicks and skateboards and skate ramps and skate logos and guns and tits and skulls and penises and shit. But we're going to take notes on hell. I can't remember. I think we decided that Valentino would end up in the 7th circle of hell, maybe the 8th. So it may be that we only need to take notes up to that point, but that's towards the end anyway. But regardless, so first circle, limbo. Hey, let's do the limbo, and then let's go under the pole as low. How low can you go? I was going to bring up some limbo music, but I won't. I can't. Absolutely can't be fucked to do that shit. Dante's first circle of hell is resided? Is that the right word to use in that place? Is resided by virtuous non-Christians and unbaptized pagans who are punished with eternity in an inferior form of heaven. They live in a castle with 7 gates which symbolise the 7 virtues. Here Dante sees many prominent people from classical antiquity such as Homer, Socrates, Aristotle, Cicero, Hippocrates and Julius Caesar. So a limbo's sort of meh. There's nothing. It's not really one of the second circles. I mean, one of the second. I just read the word second circle as I was talking. It's not really that hellish compared to some of the other circles, is it? Second circle, Lust. Ooh, now we're getting into it. Oh, give me some lust. Let's get fucking lusty. Let's get some tits. In the second circle of hell, Dante and his companion Virgil find people who are overcome by lust. They are punished by being blown violently back and forth by strong winds. That's where that stops being rude. Preventing them to find peace and rest. This isn't written brilliantly. It's written by just a person. Preventing them to find peace and rest. It should be preventing them from finding peace and rest. Strong winds symbolise the restlessness of a person who is led by desire for fleshly pleasures. Again, Dante sees many notable people from history and mythology, including Cleopatra, Tristan, Helen of Troy, and others who were adulterous during their lifetime. Blown back and forth in their penises being blown. They're in the lust place. Do you think that was on purpose? Do you think Dante did that? Do you think he knew that to be blown would become a euphemism for or just a way of describing the act of fellatio? And then he wrote in his book, people go to lust, the second circle, for their lustful ways, and they get blown. He probably did it on purpose, didn't he? He probably did. He probably did. He must have. He must have known. He might not have, but he probably did. He probably, writers are smart people. They figure out. They might not know. They can't predict the future. He's not fucking Nostradamus, is he? I think Nostradamus predicted the future. Let me Google Nostradamus. French astrologer and apothecary. Michel de Nostradame, usually Latinized as Nostradamus, was a French astrologer and apothecary physician who reputed seer, who's just someone who sees stuff. Oh, look at that. See that dog? Oh, I saw that. Oh, I see there's a tree. I think that's an olive tree. Oh, I just saw that. Look at me seeing all this stuff. Oh, look at that. Someone walking there with someone else. There's a couple of people. Do you see there's not just a person, there's a couple of people. I just saw that. Wow, you're such a good seer, Nostradamus. You just see everything. I know. Brilliant, that. Oh, brilliant. I should set up a Patreon for me being a seer, where I see stuff. And people go, wow, look at this. Oh, he sees everything. Oh, he's brilliant. God, give him some fucking money. Who is best known for his book Le Prophétesse, a collection of 942 poetic quatrains, allegedly predicting future events. So he's allegedly predicted future events. He didn't even predict future events. He allegedly predicted. He just probably said a bunch of shit where like, oh, people will be bad to each other in the future. And then people were bad to each other in the future. And everyone was like, oh, he was right. He is a seer. He sees everything, even shit we can't see. But like, no shit. People are bad to each other. Yeah, we get it. Blown back and forth by strong winds. Blown back and forth by people farting a whole fucking lot. Just fucking... Third circle, gluttony. Ooh. Give me some fucking donuts, you cunt. When reaching the third circle of hell, Dante and Virgil find souls of gluttons who are overlooked by a worm monster, Cerberus. What? Sinners in this circle of hell are punished by being forced to lie in a vile slush that is produced by never-ending icy rain. Oh, I do remember reading this. The vile slush symbolises personal degradation of one who overindulges in food, drink and other worldly pleasures, while the inability to see others lying nearby represents the glutton's selfishness and coldness. Here Dante speaks to a character called Ciaco, Kieran, we'll call him Kieran, called Kieran, who also tells him that the Guelphs, goo elves made out of goo, the Guelphs, a faction supporting the Pope, will defeat... Right. Here, Dante speaks to a character called Kieran, who also tells him that the Guelphs, a faction supporting the Pope, will defeat and expel the Ghibellines. I'm only writing these down just to show you that I'm not being a fucking dummy dum-dum going, I can't pronounce a word. Pronounce that. Ghibellines. It's probably because the ES in Old Latin is pronounced E's. Like Hippocrates and Spasophanes and all the rest of them. So I can imagine that's... And then this... Ghibli? People who like the films of Studio Ghibli. Ghibellines. A faction supporting the emperor to which Dante adhered from Florence, just a bunch of shit. There were 2 factions and someone was talking about them. This is all doesn't fucking matter. Let's do this. That doesn't matter. Oh, look at that. Ruined my lovely, nice page of notes. Dick. There you go. That's funny. Slush. Gluttony. So that's, 1, 2, 3 is sort of a given, isn't it? Right, what we got? We got. Forced to lie in a vile slush. Produced. This doesn't need to be in brackets, but I'm putting it in brackets anyway. Produced by constant icy rain, inability to see others lying nearby, blindness to others. I might remember what I mean by that. Just write fewer words, because more words is more pain. When I say I remember reading it, here's my copy of Dante's Inferno. I tore this bit off because literally the first 60 or so pages were like introduction B, translator's notes. It just went on and on and on, which is fine if that stuff is interesting to you or even necessary to your reading of the Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy Volume 1 Inferno. Then sure, cool, but it annoyed me, so I tore it out, because books are just things and they don't matter. So they matter, but they don't matter. So tear them up. It doesn't matter. I was thinking I could reread through this, or read portions and read, because I'm reading the descriptions of some rando who wrote them online. Well, I could just read them in a book, but what I'd have to do is find them in the book, and the best way to do that would be to just read through the book, and it's quite a lot of book. I don't want to... I've got comics to draw. I can't be sitting there reading fucking books and shit. At best, I might be able to read a page here and there, sort of gather where they are, what they're doing. Although Dante did not alter Minos' official function, he transformed him into a demonic figure, both in his... Oh, this is notes as well. Wait, is this not even... Oh, there's just notes within the text. Okay. Oh, there's notes after each fucking say. Okay, I'm getting pissed off at shit unnecessarily. Canto 5. I think that's chapter. Latin chapter. I don't know. Although there are introductions. So from Limbo, Virgil leads... Oh, okay, so yeah, fucking... Yeah, maybe... Then would Canto 6 be into the third circle? Gluttons are punished. These shades are mired in filthy muck and eternally battered by cold and dirty hail, rain and snow. Soon the travellers came upon Cerberus, the three-headed dog-like beast who guards the gluttons. See, in here, that threw me for a loop in what I was reading here. It said the gluttons who are overlooked by a worm monster, Cerberus. But I think Cerberus is very, very classically known to be a three-headed hellhound guarding the gates of hell or whatever. And here it says a three-headed dog-like, so not necessarily a dog, but dog-like beast who guards the gluttons. But but Virgil pacifies him with fistfuls of slime, and the two poets pass on. One of the shades recognises Dante the Pilgrim and hails him. That's that guy, Kieran. Florentine, who, before they leave, makes prophecy concerning political figures. Blah, 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 blah. It probably is worth me reading through this rather than some shitty website, isn't it? Although the website does have pictures. This has a few, like, you might have noticed, there's a few diagrams and things here and there. Look at that. Oh, lower hell. Shit going on. The sins of the leopard. Oh, what's the leopard ever done? It's just a fucking cat. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. What's he done to you, you bastard? Leave the fucking leopard alone, you prick. Oh, you fuck. Fuck you. I'm in the third circle in the round of rain, eternal, cursed, cold and falling heavy, unchanging beat, unchanging quality, thick hail and dirty water mixed with snow come down in torrents through the murky air, and the earth is stinking from this soaking rain. Cerberus, a ruthless and fantastic beast with all three throats, howls out his dog-like sounds above the drowning sinners of this place. His eyes are red, his beard is slobbered black, his belly swollen, and he has claws for hands. He rips the spirits, flays and mangles them. Under the rain they howl like dogs, lying now on one side with the other as a screen, now on the other, turning these wretched sinners. When the slimy Cerberus caught sight of us, he opened up his mouths and showed his fangs. His body was one mass of twitching muscles. My master stooped, and spreading wide his fingers, he grabbed up heaping fistfuls of the mud and flung it down into those greedy gullets. As a howling cur, hungering to get fed. Cur is a term for a dog. That's what people use it as an insult back in like the 1800s and previous. Have at you, cur! They're calling them like a low-down, dirty dog. Look at that, I know a thing. Blah, 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 blah. Each sinner there was stretched out on the ground, except for one who quickly sat up straight the moment he saw us passing by. Oh, you there being led through this inferno. Try to remember who I am, for you had life before I gave up mine. I said, the pain you suffer here perhaps disfigures you beyond all recognition. I can't remember seeing you before. But tell me who you are, blah, blah. Just a bunch of shit, I don't know. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Words. Yeah, we get it. Fucking talking shit. Shut up. At the boundary of the fourth circle, the two travellers confront... This is the introduction. Confront clucking Plutus, the god of wealth. Clucking Plutus. God, always clucking about the place. Cluck him. Who collapses into emptiness at a word from Virgil. Descending farther, the pilgrim sees two groups of angry, shouting souls who clash huge rolling weights against each other with their chests. They are the prodigal and the miserly. Their earthly concern with material goods prompts the pilgrim to question Virgil about fortune and her distribution of the worldly goods of men. After Virgil's explanation, they descend to the banks of the swamp-like river Styx, which serves as the fifth circle. Mired in the bog are the wrathful, who constantly tear and mangle each other. Beneath the slime of the Styx, Virgil explains, are the slothful. The bubbles on the muddy surface indicate their presence beneath. The poets walk around the swampy area and soon come to the foot of a high tower. Here's an interesting fact. Do you remember Mighty Max? Mighty Max had a little bird pal called Virgil, and I've literally just now realised that may be a direct reference to Dante's Inferno, because Mighty Max would jump through these portals. Virgil. He's a little like bird fucking guy. He might, if he fucks, he probably does fuck birds because he's a bird. He's a fucking bird guy and also a bird fucking guy. Is a scholarly Virgil. I'm reading from the Wikipedia. Virgil is a scholarly fowl and guide for Mighty Max, and Virgil is the name of the guy who guides Dante through the Inferno. So I think that is. Because Mighty Max goes through the portals, and then Virgil is the guy who like guides him through the different worlds and shit. And I think that has to be a fucking thing, doesn't it? Because in other media, Virgil, comic book series, gallery, categories, there's no mention of it, but I mean it's pretty safe to say that is. Exactly, that's not really a coincidence, is it? We need a guide for Max as he traverses these strange new worlds. Let's call him Virgil. Why? Because Dante's... Mighty Max and Dante's Inferno. They're like this pals. What does the website say about the fourth circle? Greed. Let's see how plain and not in detailly put this one is. In the fourth circle of hell, Dante and Virgil see the souls of people who are punished for greed. They are divided into two groups: those who hoarded possessions and those who lavishly spent it jousting. They use great weights as a weapon, pushing it with their chests, which symbolises their selfish drive for fortune during lifetime. The two groups that are guarded by a character called Pluto, probably the ancient Greek ruler of the underworld, are so occupied with that activity that the two poets don't try to speak to them. Here Dante says to see many clergymen, including cardinals and popes. Dante says to see. A really weird way of putting that. Clashing souls. More shades were here than anywhere above. Lots and lots of people are fucking greedy shits. And from both sides, to the sound of their own screams, straining their chests, they rolled enormous weights. And when they met and clashed against each other, they turned to push the other way, one side screaming, "Why hoard?" the other side, "Why waste?" Hoarders of wealth and wasters of wealth. And so they moved back around the gloomy circle, returning on both sides to opposite poles to scream their shameful tune another time. Two greedy fucks clashing against each other. Over and over. Did it say something about ripping and tearing? Because that's cool imagery. I might have made that up. I don't know. I don't care. What's next? 5. Fifth circle. Anger. Ugh. Fifth circle of hell is where the wrathful and sullen are punished for their sins. Transported on a boat by Phlygius, Dante and Virgil see the wrathful fighting each other on the surface of the river Styx and the sullen gurgling beneath the surface of the water. Again, the punishment reflects the type of sin committed during a lifetime. While passing through, the poets are approached by Filippo Agenti, a prominent Florentine politician who confiscated Dante's property after his expulsion from Florence. What a cunt! At least, if you were Dante and you got all your shit confiscated, and then you end up travelling through hell, and then you see the guy who confiscated all your shit, that would be kind of sweet, wouldn't it? You'd be like, "Hey, you took all my shit. Fuck you. Nice to see you're doing so well." It mentioned the other fuckers in here, didn't it? Under the river Styx. The slothful are under the river Styx. Slothful under river Styx. There's a whole river made out of sticks. Can't fucking dive in there, can you? Anger. Is that it? Just people fighting each other? Which makes sense because they're angry. But maybe that's it. It's like the film The One, where Jet Li's cursed to an eternity of fighting his clones on top of a mountain. Before they had reached the foot of the tower, the pilgrim had noticed 2 signal flames, another flame from distant Phlygius boatman Styx, who suddenly appears in a small boat speeding across the river. See, now they said it appears in a small boat speeding across the river. I'm picturing like a motor-powered speedboat. I don't know if they had... That was a motor noise. Wrathful and irritated though he is, the steersman must grant the poet's passage. But during the crossing, an angry shade rises from the slime to question the pilgrim. After a brief exchange of words, scornful of the part of the pilgrim who has recognised this sinner, the spirit grabs hold of the boat. Virgil pushes him away, praising his ward for his just scorn, while a group of the wrathful attack the wretched soul, whose name is Filippo Argenti. At the far shore, the poets debark and find themselves before the gates of the infernal city of Dis, where howling figures threaten from the walls. Virgil speaks with them privately, but they slam the gate shut in his face. His ward is terrified, and Virgil too is shaken, but he insists that help from heaven is already on the way. Just people fighting. Or just do that. People fighting. Fighting with Russell Crowe. That's from South Park. Whatever. Dick. Alright, let's get through this. 6. Heresy. Hearsay. 6. Heresy. Ooh. Isn't that a drink? No, that's Hennessy. When reaching the 6th circle of hell, Dante and Virgil see heretics who are condemned to eternity in flaming tombs. Here, Dante talks with a couple of Florentines, Farinata degli Uberti and Cavalcante di Cavalcanti. But he also sees other notable historical figures, including the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, and Pope Anastasius II. The second. The latter, however, is, according to some modern scholars, condemned by Dante as heretic by mistake. Instead, as some scholars argue, the poet probably meant the Byzantine Emperor Anastasius the First. Or maybe he didn't. People reading that going, oh, Dante probably meant this other person. He couldn't have been calling a pope a heretic. He wouldn't do a thing like that. No, he said what he said, you know. I'm sure he knew what he was doing. Condemned to eternity. Oh, what have we got here? Heretics. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Condemned to eternity in flaming tombs. Listening to flaming tunes by the flaming lips. I don't know why I said that. It's just got the word flaming in it, isn't it? Look at that. The way I've written the word flaming, you can't see what the fuck's going on. There's a really cool old-timey illustration here. I'll take a screenshot of it. And we are at... Oh, this has taken quite a while. Well, welcome to the drawing podcast, where we don't draw a single fucking thing. I just check the time so I can see. Maybe I'll drop the illustration in. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. 7th circle. Violence. Oh! Seventh circle has divided into 3 rings. The outer ring houses murderers and others who were violent to other people and property. Here Dante sees Alexander the Great, disputed apparently, Dionysius of Syracuse, Guy de Montfort, and many other notable historical mythological figures such as Centaurus, sank into a river of boiling blood and fire. In the middle ring, the poet sees suicides who have been turned into trees and bushes which are fed upon by harpies. That's a cool one. But he also sees here profligates chased and torn to pieces by dogs. In the inner ring are blasphemers and sodomites residing in a desert of burning sand and burning rain falling from the sky. Well, there's your hellish imagery, innit? Right, we've got 3. We have murderers. So yeah, this is where fuckface murderers in a ring of boiling fire sank, I don't know if that's the right word, but this person wrote it, so whatever, into a, it should be sunken, I'm going to write sunken. Look at that, cool notes, you can read every part of it, into a river of boiling blood and fire. Boiling blood and fire. Then we've got suicides. Self-unalivers. That's the new algorithmically appropriate term to use. Because you can't say death or dead or kill or suicide. I like this one. Turned into trees and bushes and fed upon by harpies. That's some cool imagery right there. That would be fun to draw a couple of those on the outside as he's tumbling towards his circle of hell. A few fuckers like human, like in Fallout, where the guy and you got to set him on fire and put him out of his misery with harpies pulling parts of them off. And profligates, whatever the fuck they are, we'll look it up in a second. Profligates, chased and torn by dogs. And then blasphemers. I like how that's seen as like almost worse. You think like, you know, you get the first ring, the second ring and the third ring. You assume the third ring is like the worst ring to be in. And that's where they put people who said God wasn't real. Like, really? Is that worse than killing a person? If you're a religious person, then yes, it actually is. Blasphemers and sodomites. That's people who do bum sex. In a desert of burning sand and burning rain. I've had this book for a while. I know I have looked through it. Bill Sienkiewicz. I had it for a while. I've looked at it on the show before. I've not looked through it since. I don't think. I do recall being relatively unenthused by it. Like, you see some of his artwork in it, and it's like good artwork. But for the amount of artwork he's done and how good he is at what he does, I don't feel this book necessarily represents that terribly well. Which is a shame, really. It's a shame. Oh yeah, fucking cool. Gorillas and shit. Guy, probably like blood and stuff. Yeah, I just think, you know, there are better art books out there. And this is one of those ones that was wrapped in plastic. Let me move this fucking thing. Move it somewhere it's not going to topple over and get filthy water everywhere. Yeah, it was wrapped in plastic in a store. But it was like a big Bill Sienkiewicz book, so I was like, well, that's going to be good, isn't it? So I'll get it. Get home, unwrap it, look through it, and I was just a bit like, But the main thing I take away from this is where I learned about something he'd done called stray toasters or something like that. It's pretty though, isn't it? So the girl with the dragon tattoo. Oh, I also remember some of the captions not matching the drawings, the artworks. More comic covers need to look like this. They're sketch covers. Yeah, I was going to say they look like sketch covers, but I'd love to see covers that look like this in shops that aren't like all, you know, digitally coloured, perfectly made, you know, comic book covers, but covers that look like pieces of artwork. Like, oh, wouldn't that be fucking nice to have artwork? I don't know, whatever. That's neat. That's really cool, but like, you know, a little bit more of that, almost more like graphic design than it is artwork. I do like these sort of like somewhat almost abstract pieces. Moby Dick with the white whale and the spear. Fucking Ahab. Is that his name? Is that the guy? Who's Nemo? Who's Captain Nemo? And who's Captain Ahab? Captain Ahab. Fictional character from what? One of the protagonists in Herman Melville's Moby Dick. So who the fuck's Captain Nemo? Is that 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Captain Nemo. Is a character created by the French novelist Jules Verne. Nemo appears in two of Verne's science fiction books, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and The Mysterious Island. Okay, look at that. Look at me knowing shit. Oh, aren't I intelligent? Oh, aren't I bloody smart and shit? I love this. So, you know, anytime you get Bill Sienkiewicz to do like a cover or whatever, it's going to be a piece of artwork, isn't it? But when it's actually like, oh, his face torn apart and his other face coming through the face and it's multimedia on a comic book cover, is something I very, very much like to see. Because there's not enough of it. There's so much fun. Which, it's time, isn't it? If you are a comic book production company owned by a larger media production company, then your aim is to mass produce shit as quick as possible. And the easiest way to do that is get someone, draw cover, ink it, colour it, digital colour it, and then put it on the thing. Rather than say to a genuine like artist, please paint us a cover for this comic. And plus, with so many comics coming out weekly, they can't all have, you know, fancy painted covers, can they? And then if they all did have fancy painted covers, then the uniqueness of it would wear off, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be as exciting to see. You'd be like, oh, what's going on now with all these painted covers? Oh, I miss the times when it was just plain, boring, flat digital colour. See, we're already, you know, a bunch of pages in, and there's been a few pieces of art that are like interesting and intriguing, but also quite a lot that's just like, I mean, I assume this is from like Stray Toasters or whatever. I think it's called Stray Toasters. Stray Toasters, 1988. That's the year I was born. A really good year for like media. Lots of good movies came out in 1988. But then lots and lots of years have lots of good stuff come out. I'm just saying, you know, the year I was born. So this is from Stray Toasters. There's some toasters going astray, I guess. Cool, but out of context, it's a bit like, what am I looking at? Again, cool picture, but fucking whatever. Oh, it's a Joker. Pen and ink on paper. It looks like almost it would be like a Comic-Con commission sketch. Like it looks like it was done quickly, so it could be the sort of thing that's done like, you know, at a booth. Someone paid a tenner, 10, 20 bucks. Little picture of the Joker. There you go. And then there's other people's artwork in here. That's not why I bought a book. I didn't buy the book for this shit. I bought it to look at fucking sing. Yeah, this is all like an interview with him, and he's talking about it, and so I'm sure these pictures have context. But and that's the thing. This book, a lot of it is there's words and it's stuff about the guy and his artwork. So it's probably a much more interesting book if you actually read it. But in terms of art book and look through it, I really like that Doom piece. That's really cool. The red and orange, like the glowingness within what is typically the shadowy parts of his mask and hood, kind of genius. It's a not an obvious thing, but it's something you see done every now and again. Occasionally, a decent artist will do that with Ghost Rider, with the flames protruding through the gaps in his skull. But it's a relatively simple idea of like, you have all these deep dark shadows that would usually just be black. You know, you see it quite often if it's like a double exposure, if someone's in space, where they have like the main face parts painted in, and then these shadowy parts would be the space that's in the background, like stars and planets and stuff, and that's quite cool. But then to take that shadow and like paint it with a glow really does something to the image. And as I say, is somewhat simple in terms of it looks impressive, but it's not that hard a thing to achieve in an artwork. But it takes the artist to think about doing it, and then to pull it off successfully, because it's far easier to just throw it all in shadow and go, it's Dr. Doom, it's in shadow or whatever. But then to have like the just to do it is shut up, go away, leave me alone. Those are cool, but like, whatevs. That looks like MF Doom's original mask. Untitled preliminary drawing for a book cover. Dracula. I do like Dracula. One of my favourite novels. That I say is one of my favourite novels, but in reality probably isn't. That's really cool. I really, really like this, actually. Really good shapes, good colours. The blue in his skin, her flesh, and like the spray and stuff, the red glow, and like the fear in her eyes, which probably isn't fear necessarily. The airbrush, the pencil lines, and the rough paint marks and stuff. That's a really, really nice piece. The red pupils. Yeah, not much information about this, but that definitely looks like a little bit. I know it's not, but it looks very similar to MF Doom's original mask, which was a cane from the WWF mask. Black Widow, sure. Mad Max Fury Road, definitely not. I've seen that film a number of times. This looks much more like a Viking or barbarian of some kind, or Thor in some respect. There's nothing remotely like this imagery in Mad Max Fury Road. So yeah, the captions are incorrect a few times throughout the book, which is a shame. I like this because it looks like it was like scanned and stretched at an angle, but it's probably drawn that way. Maybe. But I like that about it. Fucking Deathstroke, that's the one. I never remember this guy's name. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Some cool artwork. Nosferatu. A dog. Kingpin and Joker. Cool. That's a really cool Joker. I like the hair. He's got a fucking sword in him. What's going on? Halloween. New Mutants 2018. Maybe Black Panther had a part in the New Mutants at some point. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge on that to know. But it's Black Panther, isn't it? Let's get to, there's this cool artwork. That's a really, really nice Electra piece. That'd be the sort of thing I'd quite like to trace and paint over. Or maybe just tear the page out and paint over it. Because fuck it, why not? I do like that. Not that I think I can improve upon it. I don't believe that to be the case. It's just, it's a cool drawing and I'd like to colour it in. That's what colouring books are for, isn't it? It's not because like you don't get a colouring book and go, oh, I can make this better with colour. You get it and go, oh, wouldn't it be fun to just fucking... Now, Batman cover for DC 2013, pen and ink on paper. Absolutely not. Study for Batman 2016, pen and ink on paper. Absolutely not. Neither of which are DC characters. That's clearly Galactus and Kingpin. Get your shit together. Portrait of Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, sure, totally. A really good little portrait of Aubrey Plaza. Just trying to find if it says who the fuck put this book together. Because they fucked up on the captions. Edited by Sal Abinati and Chul R. Kim. Not necessarily well edited. Could be better. It's Stray Toasters, 1988. I had no clue before I picked up this book. I had no clue that Stray Toasters was a thing. The name Stray Toasters meant nothing to me. It looks like a Bill Sienkiewicz creator-owned weird comic thing. And I'm absolutely here for it. I never once even thought to try and track it down. If it is available, it's probably like £800 on eBay or some shit. Stray Toasters, totally epic! Wow! Bloody shiz now. Amazon.co.uk. This site can't be reached. Amazing! Love it so much. I could shit in my pants. Currently unavailable. Amazing. Yeah, that's how it's going to be, isn't it? On Amazon. Currently unavailable. Then why is it on Amazon? It's a thing. it looks like there's a series of comic book series, 4-issue comic book miniseries, created, written, and illustrated by Bill Sienkiewicz, published by Marvel Comics imprint Epic Comics in 1988. Although it was critically acclaimed, it never reached widespread circulation like Sienkiewicz's later works. That's a shame. It is a shame. I think that's definitely one I might have to look into. But yeah, cool, like, you know, Bill Sienkiewicz drawing and painting collages of like old-timey illustrations. Oh, his finger fucking come off. What's going on? Paintings and... Like, if this is a page from the comic, that's a pretty wildly interesting page. There's, like, childish drawings, really heavily textured paint, portraits and shit, and collages of old illustrations. What's this guy? He's getting beaten up or something? Ah! And then you get, like, electronics, wires and stuff mixed with feathers stuck onto the page. That's fucking cool. Like, he literally just... said, I'm going to make a comic, and then he just actual lace cut out and stuck onto the thing, which is very, very suggestive. I think you can see here, oh, the lace is actually a blind being pulled down gradually, this woman in a robe. Yeah, so suggestive of that kind of lewd sort of shit. I don't know. And if pages look like if that's a comic book page, isn't that a cool fucking way to... Has he got a toaster? Is that someone with a toaster for a head? That's quite cool. Oh my god, not the VHS tape! Oh no! The colours. The warmth emanating from that page. And him drawing figures is just so nice. Like, it looks like it comes so easy to him. The shape of the arm and the hand. The thumb here holding the head. And the sort of angle and everything. Really, really nice. Nice lines for the hair. Drawn in like parts where I'd just go like fucking this. He's drawn them in parts. And that's the smart way to draw hair if you're going to fucking draw hair. And a mixture of like decently painted, you know, scenes. Like more collage and thick paint. Somewhat whimsical portraits. Little silhouetted figures. Some watercolour or gouache looking stuff. And then these like... almost impressionistic cartoons. I can't remember the guy's name who illustrated or like at least has done illustrative work for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, who does, you know, those covers. That's cool. Toasters, some fucking toasters in this comic called Toasters. I like this. He's rather than like photocopy or digitally copy and paste. Oh, aren't my nails filthy? How nice. He's used actual printing where he's gotten... Maybe he's made a lino cut where he's made like a print block, rolled ink onto it, various colours of ink, and then printed it, like pressed it and printed it onto the page again and again for these repeated police images. Which is so smart, because if your comic is all paintings, drawing, collages, all kinds of media in this one comic, then having something like this fits in perfectly. Because if I suddenly did this, even if it's just black and white, it would appear somewhat out of place. It would look like it stands out, but it fits in perfectly here. And I love that he basically physically copy and pasted it without any sort of digital manipulation or anything. So that's really, really cool. And then you just roll ink just onto the head to print the head just in the background there. Really, really fucking smart. I like that a lot. I like this. Him stood at the doorway in this little panel and bashing it the fuck open. More of these cartoony drawings. I'm going to have to get hold of Stray Toasters at some point, aren't I? It's a gorgeous looking thing. So for me saying, oh, this book is unimpressive, I remember looking through this book and being like, oh, what the fuck? Until I got to this point of Stray Toasters and being like hugely impressed by someone that would make a comic that looks like this. Because there are like artsy comics out there, you know, anything Dave McKean has done. That Batman Arkham Asylum one is brilliant. Have I really looked at that? I might not have. I might have to fucking whip that one out at some point. yeah, really, really impressive, really inspiring. And then New Mutants, his work on New Mutants is, it's cool that they got someone like Sienkiewicz to work on something like New Mutants. It's like, basically an X-Men comic, but then to have artwork by Sienkiewicz, it's just like insane artwork. Really, really cool stuff. Cool to see. Good stuff. We need more of that. I might buy more comics like New Mutants and X-Men if they actually had good artwork. Didn't they make a New Mutants film or show recently? Didn't it flop horribly? Not surprising. They should have got Sienkiewicz involved, shouldn't they? I think he did. It looks like he did a comic about Jimi Hendrix, which is really, really cool. It might have just been some artworks that went together. It might have been a full narrative comic. I'm not sure, but yeah, really, really pretty artwork. Really cool paintings of Jimi Hendrix. I'm a Hendrix fan. Got a lot of love for Hendrix. I listen to him not regularly, but every now and again he pops onto the playlists. A lot of time for Hendrix. He's really, really good. Izzy is one of the greatest fucking musicians to have ever lived. Really, really good. Yeah, he's pretty good. Just some gorgeous artwork. Like any of these drawings, paintings, pieces individually are just really, really fucking nice. But the fact that they're all like part of something. Daredevil and Elektra Assassin. I like that a lot. That's a really, really cool piece. He must have had some kind of reference for like the gun and holding the gun like that. I like the hand like this. Like it's really awkward to draw in such a way that looks good. But that works perfectly with the gun and the pose, and like her under jaw and under nose with her head like tilted upward a little bit as we're looking up at her. Really, really nice piece with the moon and the lighting and the thing. And that's cool too, I guess. And that's cool too. Paintings of Elektra. That's fucking incredible. Sorry, I was burping internally there. The jawline, the neck and collarbone, and then the contrast of the clothing and the skin, and the fact that it's painted all in like blues, purples and reds, and then very, very pale, blues, purples, greys, reds, whatever, and it's not like pink, peach, fleshy colour for her skin, which would be the obvious go-to, but to paint it in this kind of tone, really, really nice. And that's a cool Daredevil. Notebooks. Now this one irritated me. Notebooks, cool. That would be cool to see. Bill Sienkiewicz's notebooks, like sketchbook paintings that just little bits that you do in notebooks. A Moon Knight. I assume it's like a rough for a Moon Knight comic book cover. A collage, like a Klimt collage with magazine bits and stuff. That's really fucking cool. Some other bits. No, fuck you. And that's it for like notebooks and shit. Like a handful of pages. And I mean, it's the way you put a book together, it's fine, it's whatever, but like if you're gonna have notebooks 1980, that's 30, almost basically 40 years notebooks for 40 years, and you've got like that, like put something here, something here, like such a waste, especially for an artist like Sienkiewicz. It's like, give me some more, man. Give me some more. But he is good though, isn't he? He is good. Speaking of hell, this is, I didn't put it the other way up because it shows the last page I worked on, which we'll get to. This is, so far, all of Death Fist. It's quite cool, isn't it? Look at all the artwork. Look at that. That's all comic book artwork. I haven't uploaded any recent pages to Patreon because, as I think I mentioned before, I still have to do those Falling Through Hell pages, and I've done some pages after those pages. And so where there's a gap, I don't want to upload pages to Patreon without having uploaded previous pages. So the next time I upload to Patreon will be very likely the full finished first half of Death Fist, which will be 8, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, it looks like. About 30 pages exactly, maybe. It might be exactly 30 pages. Maybe with a cover, maybe not. It might be the finished PDF ready to print. It might not be. Either way, I'm going to get these hell pages done, and then that'll be about it. And then, and also this will be the last time I look through artwork again and again and again. Before it's fucking, and then the next time you see it will be when I've got a copy of the printed fucking thing. But let's fucking, Sienkiewicz who? Let's look at me instead. The first page. Death Fist. Occasionally, I'll feel like some of the earlier artwork from Death Fist has like not necessarily more energy, but has a certain vibe that I haven't seemed to capture in later pages. But then I can probably say the same where later pages have certain vibes and details and things that earlier pages don't. So it's a process, isn't it? It's a fucking process. Hot dog man, get the hot dog. Get the hot dog man. There's a cat. He's killed a bird. Oh, nice. And then he's got the hot dog. I really like these pages. Him holding the hot dog, him eating the hot dog, him in amongst people just going about their business, and there's a weird cloaked figure. Also, something to note is my drawings of the poncho have gotten a lot better. They're not perfect by any means, but I feel like I've gained a much deeper understanding of drawing a poncho in the more recent pages I've done. I think I've given less of a fuck about drawing background characters as well. I feel like they've gotten progressively more simplistic and dumb looking. Oh god, get into action, ready, because he's just this. Like this drawing of the poncho looks cool, but it is very sort of interpretive, impressionistic, almost. Like it's this angles and it's sort of like a poncho drawn in a certain way could look kind of like this. It doesn't look like how material would actually flow. It looks cool. I still love this drawing, and I love the page, the character reveal and all. I think it does work in the context of comic book. If we look at the teaser, which I got printed up, you get the first page, and then once you turn, there's the reveal there of Death Fist. I am Death Fist. He doesn't show his fist because you see that coming up. Right here, you bitch. Yeah, he's like the Reaper, but not the Reaper. He catches the bad boys and punches them and punches them and punches them. I really like this one. This is kind of cool. This is really, really cool. The foosh into the fist of dread. And then that's an all right sort of punch. I'm not entirely happy with this guy's face. I still really, this is one of my favourite Death Fist drawings I've done. Just this little pose here, punching a guy down into hell. He explains what's going on. And he's out and about doing his thing, and his fist senses tingle. That's a reference to Spider-Man, which you might not have caught, but the astute of you, I know, would have gotten it. There's Bart and Milhouse, and Bart's wearing a Mr. Sparkle t-shirt. Isn't that funny? Oh, that's quite amusing, isn't it? There's the guy outside the Teeny Peeny store. Who's the guy? He's a child killer. I like this. This feels almost Sienkiewicz inspired, doesn't it? It probably is, without trying to be. Also, my drawings of this guy, Valentino, changed a little bit. Because the first chunk of Death Fist was done quite early on. Sometime last year now, compared to the more recent work. So, it's going to look different, isn't it? But various things about him have changed. His, white guy dreadlocks grew a lot over the pages. I did add this in because at the end of the teaser, there's this page. I just didn't draw the last panel because I figured I didn't need to, because it's just going to say to be continued. I did realise, of course, it makes sense in terms of viewing it. Like, he's chasing him, so he's running away, but he's after him. But out of context, it looks like he's chasing him, almost. I don't know. I like this little panel, this little Death Fist drawing of the running running Skull Man. And that's where I left it for quite a long time, and then jumped back into it with this page, which I really, really like. I had to cut this portion out and stick it on top because I wasn't happy with the top panel, but I really like the almost the fish eye kind of bit here as he's running away. There's a car popping out here, and then he fucking vaults over the car, and then Deathfist leaps over the car, and there's people in their cars like, oh, what the fuck's going on? I really, really do like that page. I think it's a really good one. And then he's running and he screeches to a halt because there's a fucking lorry in front of him. Oh my god. And then he stops. He's confronted by Deathfist and he's like, haha, you can't get me because I got this. He pulls his shirt up. He's got all like cuts and shit all over his body. They look like drawings or tattoos, but they are carved into his skin. It's expressed through the text. See, the text works with the images to tell the story. These two pages work together. I was really sort of more or less happy with that spread. You do kind of see the mirroring of small and the big and the foreground and the background. It flips perspectives and a thing, and I like this pose and him holding his shirt that he's taken off, and this guy's got a dog character in the background. No, at any time. The western eyes, spaghetti western Clint Eastwood eyes. And then he goes, yeah, and he leaps onto the back of the lorry that was there. The truck, lorry, you get it. And he climbs up onto it, and there's a bird like, what the fuck's going on? Pigeon's just chilling like a pigeon. Riding on top of the truck, he's chasing after the truck, he's running alongside the truck, and he's surfing on top of the truck. There's a cyclist like, oh, what's going on? And then he sees an alleyway off the corner of the Scooch store, and he's ready, and then he leaps, he jumps off the fire, leap, and he's moving into the crowd, chairs, etc. There's a pizza store, but it's spelled with two S's, so it's a pisser store. Something Deuce Goose, a little MF Doom reference on the back of this guy's jacket. And then Deathfist's like, oh shit, where's he gone? Where the fuck has he gone? Into this crowd, I can't see him. Alright, what can I do? I got it. He looks up, he sees his way. You go hop onto the bin, onto the thing, onto the lamppost, you climb up the windows. So he does that. I like this. I was really, really happy with this. I quite like the crowd as well, sort of from above and then fading off into the background. Lots of little funny little characters. These guys are hugging it out. There's a bear. It's like a cactuar guy there. There's funny details and shit. But yeah, I really like this one. And he climbs up onto the roof. There's a bird with tits for eyes. He's running along the rooftops. I might have to make a little mini collage of just Deathfist running, because there's quite a few instances of that. And he's looking down off the rooftops and he sees the guy. So he jumps off the roof, he jumps down, and then blam! And his hood came up as he was jumping down to make him look extra cool. And he's like, yeah, got you now, you bitch. Dog's like, what the fuck? And the rat's like, squeak. I like this as well. I like the chunkiness of the way I drew like Valentina's hand and leg and foot. Killed that shoe. I think that looks really, really good. And he's like, oh shit, what do I do now? Grabs a kid. He's got a knife to the kid's throat. Oh my god. His mum's like, fuck. Everyone's like, oh shit, oh my god. And he's like, oh no. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, you fuck. And then he's like, oh, so angry. His fists are angry. He's like, stay back, you bitches. And he's like, he's got a little walking television on his shirt. That's cool. And then his feet, I really like this panel, his feet fall back and then he falls back and then he falls back into this black inky splodge on the ground, and then he's like, shit, what happened, where'd he go? And he's like, he's over here, and he like, there's a goop and then there's a rat still, and then he comes up and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, and he climbs out of the goop and he's coming up behind him and he pulls back and he goes, pow, punches him in the back of the head, and the kid's like free, I guess, as he scoffs onto the floor, his knife pings away and his fists are, and he's like, yeah, got you, you bastard, fucking eat that shit. And then Deathfist leaps at him and the crowd is a blur and he jumps on top of him, and I really like this panel as well. And so they're tussling on the floor and he's twisted up, got his leg in his chest, he's holding his arm and he's like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? He sees his knife, he rolls over, grabs his knife, stabs Deathfist in the chest, and he's like, oh shit, oh my god, and everyone's like, oh shit, what the fuck, filming it on their phones and shit. And then he's got him in a headlock and he's got his knife and he's got like dust pouring out of him, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, you cunt, and he's like, oh shit, and he goes, whoomph, whoosh, goomph, pow, pop, pop, bursts his testicles with a swift uppercut there. That's a favourite one. Somebody buy that for a lot of money, because that's a really, really good one. I think I will almost certainly be changing this panel because I do have another idea in mind, which in my mind works a little better. And then that's his swing, and then the next page is the big punch as he punches him down into hell. The next 4 pages are Valentino tumbling through hell, as we've discussed, and are currently researching on how to properly do that. Then the next page, the kid is free and safe, and he runs towards his mum, who is waiting with outstretched arms. The emotion of the reunion, they're finally back together. The kid's safe. She looks over and says, thank you so much, you saved my baby. And he's like, huh? Ha ha, yes, success. I really like these pages. I think it's a nice sort of like storytelling sequence and shit, yeah. And then all the crowd's like, shit, did you see that guy's arm? What the fuck is up with that? Has he even got a nose? Look at his face. Where's his skin? Oh my God, what's going on? And they're all swarming around him with their phones going, look at that, he's weird. He's fucking weird looking. Look at him. Look at him. He's fucking weird. God. So he's all like, oh shit, I'm found out. And he's trying to cover up his weird big arm and he's running off. And they're all chasing after him, trying to get a picture, trying to get a video, trying to get a selfie. I really like these pages as well. Maybe I've not done too bad with the background characters and the crowd and stuff, because it's pretty cool. They all look different. They're all like moving differently. He's like jogging, he's sprinting, and a little kid there. And this guy's like, oh, fuck, what's going on? Papers flying up and stuff. And then they're all chasing him, one swarm body chasing after him. And he sees an alleyway, ducks down the alleyway, loses them because they're stupid. They're all running off. There's a flop shop with a little dick there. I really like this alleyway scene. I was really happy with the perspective and everything in that. I think his fist should be a bit bigger here. Maybe I'll draw it on a separate piece of paper and stick it on a bit bigger, because I think it could be a bit bigger. But he lost the crowd, takes a breather against the wall, stands up, and he says, "Is that it?" And then you get that, and you get that and that. See, it's like the same panel, but it shifts into this black space, and the reply comes back, "No." And I've got some notes with like what I'm actually going to be writing and stuff. I won't show you the notes, but I guess I can see. So there'll be a big no here in the speech bubble saying no, and then here it will say something along the lines of there is no done. There's no start, no finish. You know this. And then and then this page, and it will say I'm showing you the notes without meaning to show you the notes. This is the path you chose. You knew the risks, you knew the rewards, you know your purpose, you know the work that must be done, your work. And so he's there with like, he looks funny, doesn't he? Just a quick little doodle, but I liked the scribbly doodle I did, so I wanted to sort of impart that into the page rather than just have it a pristine little death fist guy. A couple of pages. These were relatively quick ones to do, as you can probably imagine, but they're part of the story. It will work. You see Death Fist in the world of whatever. Well, you don't see him in anywhere. It's just, you know, this blackness, this void of his boss in hell or whatever. And then so it's giving you almost a little bit of background on him. It's suggesting that like he chose to do this for some kind of reason. This is his purpose, and he knew what he was getting into. A little bit of like, oh, what's that all about? And then it would say, still carrying on from here, it will say there are still people out there. And then this is a bunch of people that are out there. All the people. Look at all the people. And then it will say there are still demons out there. So then this will be 2 pages. I'll just like use this page, but then not like Bill Sienkiewicz, but I'm going to digitally add these demon faces on top of these people. So it's like 2 pages side by side, but some of them have got demon faces. I did do that with these pages, but it doesn't work. I think what I need to do, because these faces, because there's quite a lot of detail going on, these faces don't really stand out. Like if you look at the 2 pages side by side, this one and then this one with these demon faces put on top of them, it doesn't look different enough. So I think what I'm going to do is basically replicate these faces, but with like big, thick. I might even paint them in black paint to make them like thick and swooshy with very bold, like evil white eyes and toothy grins and stuff. And hopefully that'll make them stand out as like big evil demon faces instead of these sort of almost cartoonish faces. I may need to work on that. I may even need to work on like make this drawing simpler, like redo it with less detail so that when the demon faces appear, they're more obvious, because I think they do get lost in the detail a little bit, which is not a shame, but it's just something I might have to take into account. And then there will be one page after that, which will be this page zoomed out, and it will be basically like you're seeing, well, it'll be the page with the demon faces, like this on a drawing board with pencils and notes and stuff, like zoomed out at a bit of an angle, and that'll be the last page you see in the first half of this Death Fist epic. So a little bit of work. I need to adjust this slightly, just to make sure it works. I will try the big black brush faces. That should work, and if not, I might have to redraw the whole thing with less detail and then make it work. That'll work. Then I've got to draw the big punch, and then the hell of it all. And that's, I mean, I'm not going to spend too long going on about it. I'm not going to get into it. I'll be here for hours and hours. So I do a 12-hour podcast just working on these 4 pages. I could actually do that. I'm sure there are quite a lot of people out there who would actually like to see that, of spending a lot of time working on one thing as opposed to a lot of time working on a lot of some things. So I do have some pages of notes. I thought I did. I thought I had a rough outline of like the guy tumbling through hell. Maybe I've lost it. That'll be funny, won't it? That's just fucking gone. I mean, it's nothing I can't draw again, but it'd be nice not to have to. Well, that's fucked off. Oh, I need that one for someone else. So we've got our notes, our hell notes, and now we have to turn those into a page. It looks like there isn't much. I think here you got him falling into hell and then tumbling through hell and then falling deeper into hell. Here it might just have to be like black or fading into blackness. Maybe the darkness can start about here. So it's kind of light, but then fading into blackness with a couple of like doomed soul kind of faces, maybe some skulls and stuff here. And then we get into people, I guess, if they're forced to lie in a vile slush, I can draw like people on the ground reaching up with wailing faces going, "Oh no, help me," not having a fun time, their bums up in the air, reaching up as he's tumbling through hell, lying on the ground, and the ground doesn't look comfortable, and then more souls off in the distance, and then basically the same thing but coming from above. So there is no up and down, so all of this is floor, like in Interstellar, where there's the thing, and it's all, they all live on a thing, and it's like a cylindrical, artificially made planet thing. And then I could put I've got to put something like Cerberus in there. I should have noted where Cerberus was. I think he was, is it 3? Yeah, I think, Cerberus should be about here, which makes sense to have him close to the entrance to hell. So maybe I put like Cerberus kind of here. Yeah, that would be quite cool to spread it across a couple of pages. Have one head here, one head here, one head here, and they can be like the big barking mouth of the dog, like Cerberus. Cerberus. I'm gonna be doing that forever and ever. The Hellhound. Arrgh. I mean, in one way, I don't want to make it so obvious that, oh look, I drew Cerberus because he's falling into hell. Cerberus, because he's falling into hell. But at the same time, he's falling into hell, and Cerberus is the Hellhound, so it makes sense to draw it. Maybe this move up a bit and then have another one here. A nice cute dog face hanging out. So it's sort of, as you're reading it, it'll be upside down, but then you can turn it and be like, oh shit, it's Cerberus, the dog of the thing. And maybe have him like chewing on a person with his head coming off. Wailing souls. People under the river Styx, so at some point I can have like a river running through it, and then people like hands coming out of the river, maybe a couple of faces like, oh no, I'm in the river. I could have just a river of bodies, couldn't I? Just, that'd be quite a cool like visual thing. The Flaming Tombs is a good one. I almost don't have enough space to put all the shit that I really want to put. I think the people turned into trees, having their flesh torn apart by harpies, could be quite a cool one. Maybe I could put the people as trees here, a few of those, and then the with some of them having like flesh torn away, and then a harpy here with like flesh in her mouth that sort of goes between. So I'm going to have the guy with his, I think his feet here, sort of falling down into hell, going, oh no, these are his hands. I'm falling down into hell, no. And then so here I can have like a harpy. These are harpy wings. Her feet going, arrgh, looking nice with a harpy tits hanging about. Maybe a close-up of like a evil harpy face. And then, yeah, tortured souls, people turning into trees, just like bodies rooted to rocks with their arms all like twisted and mangled, and branches coming out of their heads, screaming in agony as parts are being torn off. That could make for some good visuals. And I want to try to like have it all kind of blend in, so I can maybe have some of these tree people going off into a little bit of a distance. And then just souls, tortured souls, just tortured souls everywhere. This river could work quite well. See, my original thought was to have it almost literally be like he was falling down a big tube. So then try to draw like, if this is the hole he's falling into, and this is, well, you know, coming out of the real world, or the upper world, into hell, and then falling down into the abyss. I did almost want it to be like a tube, that you'd have people around the edges of each of the circles. But I don't know if that will necessarily work. It might be better just to do like a big collage of damned screaming souls wailing in the darkness, a river of bodies, burning fires and shit. Yeah, I might not be able to put in quite as much imagery as I'd first imagined, because, and bear in mind, there will be a body that I need to keep focus on falling through each page, taking up a fairly substantial amount of space. And I want to have it drawn in such a way that the body is drawn as almost like a line drawing, with not too much shading or anything, and then pretty much the entire background cross-hatched to fuck. Hopefully draw the bodies and stuff bold enough that you can see them, but I want the background to be relatively dark, especially compared to the body falling through it. A bit of a mess, obviously, but I think that's a fairly good outline. If I start doing like, I think it might be good to, if I start on these 2 pages, get 2 bits of paper next to each other, get Cerberus in there, some damned souls, just rough them out, start tracing that up, and then the next page and the next page. I do need to make sure I've got Mr. Man tumbling, get those drawings sort of solidified and sized appropriately. I may even draw them on separate paper, cut them out, and then stick them on top of the hell drawing, because that might be an easier way. As long as I know I leave a gap for him, like I trace that bit of paper so I know which space to leave for him to go on. But that might be a better way of drawing it. Anyway, that's a whole bunch of shit. This has been a research episode. I hope you've... I don't know if you'll take anything away from it, because I'm researching for myself, for my own thing. But I hope you're at least maybe... I've whet your appetites for what's to come in Death Fist. I'm looking forward to having these pages finished, just so I can look at them. But I think they should be kind of fun to draw. Screaming, tortured souls of the damned and stuff. A dog, some harpies and shit. There's some cool stuff in there, so I think I'll be alright.